V2 Mais Recente, copier publicer, welcome back to Raven Reports, where we delve into the shadows of human behavior. I'm your host, and today's story is one that will make you think twice about what people share online and what they keep hidden. This is the story of Eliza Bennett and Marcus Reed. Eliza Bennett's face was illuminated by her phone screen as she scrolled through Instagram past midnight. Rain tapped against her window as the 28-year-old graphic designer checked a notification. A new follower request from Truthseeker427. Curious, she accepted. Within seconds, a direct message appeared. I know what Marcus is hiding. If you want the truth, check your email. Eliza's heart skipped. Marcus Reed had been her boyfriend for 8 months. Charming, successful, a real estate developer with a warm smile that made her feel safe. At least that's what she thought. She opened her email and found a message from an anonymous sender. The real Marcus Reed. The attachments showed Marcus with different women on dates when he'd claimed to be working or traveling. Financial documents revealed he was running an investment scam, funneling clients' money into offshore accounts. Screenshots showed him boasting about how easily he manipulated people. Eliza felt sick. The man she thought she knew, the man she had begun to fall in love with, was a complete fabrication. After hours of internal debate, as dawn broke through her window, Eliza made a decision. She would expose him. She created an Instagram account called The Truth About Marcus Reed, uploading everything the anonymous sender had provided, tagging his business associates, friends, and the women from the photographs. Just before hitting share, Eliza hesitated. Should she confront him privately first? But the extent of his deception had shaken her. She pressed share. By 8:15 a.m., her phone buzzed nonstop with notifications. People shared the post, commented, sent messages, some expressing shock, others thanking her. Marcus's business partner called, demanding to know if the financial allegations were true. One woman messaged to say Marcus had told her he was single and they'd been dating for nearly a year. Marcus himself called at 9:27 a.m. Eliza let it go to voicemail. His message mixed anger and panic. What the hell are you doing? Take that down now. You have no idea what you're getting into. She updated the Instagram account with his voicemail. By midday, news sites had picked up the story, focusing on financial fraud allegations. That evening, Eliza agreed to meet Marcus at a downtown coffee shop. She arrived early, chose a table with a clear view of the entrance, and waited. 7 p.m. came and went. No Marcus. She texted him at 7:30. I'm here. Where are you? No response. By 8:15, she gave up and went home. What she didn't expect was the knock on her door at 11:42 p.m. Through the peephole, she saw Marcus. Disheveled, bloodshot eyes, wrinkled shirt. Eliza, please, we need to talk. Keeping the chain engaged, she cracked open the door. Say what you have to say, then leave. Those documents aren't what they seem, Marcus insisted. I'm in serious trouble. The financial records, they're real, but they're not mine. I was set up, and now the people who did it think I've stolen from them. You were framed? You expect me to believe that? These people are dangerous, he whispered, glancing over his shoulder. And now they think I've exposed them because of your post. You have no idea what you've done. There was genuine fear in his eyes. Who sent you those files? He demanded. I don't know. It was anonymous. Marcus cursed. It was them. They're playing us against each other. Who is them? I need to go. He backed away. Delete that account. Delete everything. It won't help. The damage is done, but maybe it will buy us some time. Before Eliza could respond, Marcus was heading for the stairwell. Shaken, Eliza locked her door. Was Marcus telling the truth? The account now had over 15,000 followers. Comments and messages poured in, some from people claiming to be victims of his investment scheme. Eliza hesitated over the delete account button. If Marcus was lying, deleting it would help him escape accountability. But if he was telling the truth, leaving it up might endanger them both. She decided to leave it up. Marcus had lied too many times. She awoke to her phone ringing at 6:17 a.m. The caller ID showed Detective Laura Mercer from the local police department. 20 minutes later, Eliza sat across from Detective Mercer and her partner, Detective Sullivan, in her living room. "Ms. Bennett, when was the last time you saw Marcus Reed?" "Last night around 11:45. He came to my door. He seemed frightened." "Can you tell us what you discussed?" Eliza recounted the conversation, including Marcus's claims about being framed. "Ms. Bennett, Marcus Reed's apartment was found empty this morning. His car is still in the garage, his wallet and passport in his apartment. The security camera in his building captured him entering at 12:17 a.m. There's no footage of him leaving. The building has cameras at all exits." Eliza's blood ran cold. "So he vanished?" "Cameras can be disabled," Sullivan said. "But it's concerning." The detectives questioned her for another half hour before leaving, asking her to contact them if Marcus reached out again. Around 2 p.m., Eliza's phone rang with an unfamiliar number. "Is this Eliza Bennett?" a female voice asked. "Yes. Who's this?" "My name is Rebecca Winters. I was one of the women in those pictures with Marcus. I think we need to talk." An hour later, they met at a local bistro. Rebecca was in her early 30s, with short blonde hair and intense eyes. "About 2 months ago, Marcus became secretive," Rebecca explained. "After I saw your Instagram post, I went through old photos and found something." She showed Eliza a photo of Marcus at a business dinner with 3 men. "This is Victor Kozlov. He's a real estate developer but rumored to have connections to organized crime, specifically money laundering through property developments." "You think Marcus was involved with criminals?" "I think he was in way over his head. 2 of the financial documents you shared referenced a company called Oceanic Holdings. That company is owned by Kozlov. So when Marcus said he was framed, maybe he was telling the truth." Rebecca put her phone away. "Have the police contacted you?" "Yes, Marcus is officially missing." Rebecca's expression darkened. "If Marcus was skimming money from Kozlov, your Instagram post painted a target on his back." "Oh God, what have I done? Now we need to figure out what happened, for our own safety too." "We should go to the police with this," Eliza suggested. Rebecca shook her head. "Not yet. If Kozlov has connections in the department, we could be at risk. We need to find out exactly what Marcus was involved in, starting with his apartment." At 9:45 p.m., they entered Marcus's penthouse. Rebecca knew the security guard, who let them in without question. In the bathroom, Eliza discovered a leather-bound notebook wedged behind the vanity. Inside were handwritten notes, dates, names, amounts. The last entry, dated 3 days ago, read, "K knows, Plan B." As they examined it, they heard the elevator moving. 2 men in dark suits stepped into the apartment. "Ladies," the taller one said with an Eastern European accent. "This is unexpected." Rebecca claimed they were collecting personal items. The man didn't believe them. "We're looking for something that belongs to us, something Marcus took." Eliza clutched the notebook hidden in her jacket. "We don't have anything. We don't know what Marcus took or where he is." The man studied her face. "You created that Instagram account, yes?" Eliza nodded reluctantly. "And how did you come by that information?" "It was sent to me anonymously." He approached slowly. "I don't believe you." Rebecca stepped between them. The man handed Eliza a business card with only a phone number. "When you remember something useful, call this number. It would be in everyone's best interest, especially yours." After they left, Eliza and Rebecca analyzed the notebook at a diner. It detailed money laundering operations through Marcus's business. He'd recently started skimming extra money from the transfers. "We go to the FBI with this," Rebecca said. "But for tonight, you shouldn't go back to your apartment. I have a friend's vacation rental you can use." After Rebecca left, Eliza fell asleep on the sofa with the notebook hidden under the cushion. A noise woke her, footsteps inside the house. Through barely open eyes, she saw a silhouette in the doorway. "Eliza, it's me." She sat up. "Marcus?" He looked haggard, with stubble and casual clothes instead of his usual suits. "I've been following you," he admitted. "Rebecca works for Kozlov. She's his fixer. She handles problems discreetly. She's using you to find me or what I took." "The notebook," Eliza blurted out. Marcus retrieved it from its hiding place. This notebook is my leverage against Kozlov. It contains details of all his operations. Rebecca's coming at 7 a.m. to take me to the FBI. She's taking you to Kozlov. We need to leave now. They escaped to a remote cabin Marcus owned under another name. There, he explained how he'd become involved with Kozlov's money laundering operation and eventually started skimming funds to escape. Someone inside Kozlov's organization sent you those files to eliminate me without getting their hands dirty. As they discussed next steps, they heard vehicles approaching. Through the window, they spotted Rebecca and Anton, one of Kozlov's men from the apartment. How did they find us? Your phone. Rebecca must have installed spyware. They fled through the woods to another cabin where Marcus had a radio. Before they could call for help, Rebecca and Anton caught up. During the confrontation, Eliza knocked Anton unconscious while Marcus disarmed Rebecca. They tied up Rebecca and the unconscious Anton, then escaped in Anton's SUV. Marcus drove to a storage facility where he retrieved a laptop containing access to crypto wallets with the money he'd diverted from Kozlov. "We have enough to disappear completely," Marcus told her. "But what do you want to do?" Eliza couldn't abandon her life. Together they created a dead man's switch, evidence that would be released if anything happened to either of them, and sent Kozlov terms: leave them alone or face exposure. Days later, Marcus contacted her. "It's done. Kozlov's agreed to our terms. I'm leaving the country tonight. New identity, new life." "Will I ever see you again?" Eliza asked. "It's better if you don't. Safer for both of us." In the months that followed, Eliza rebuilt her life. She kept the encrypted hard drive Marcus had given her as insurance, checking in weekly with the dead man's switch. News eventually reported that Viktor Kozlov had been arrested for money laundering, though nothing mentioned Marcus Reed or a woman who exposed secrets on Instagram. Eliza never knew for certain if Marcus's feelings for her had been real or another deception. Perhaps that was for the best. Some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. She had exposed a man's secret life on Instagram, and he had vanished without a trace. But she remained, stronger for having weathered the storm, wiser for having seen behind the curtain, ready for whatever came next in a world where nothing is ever quite what it seems. Welcome back to Raven Reports. I'm your host, and that was the story of Eliza Bennett and Marcus Reed, a tale of deception, danger, and digital exposure. Remember, in today's interconnected world, secrets have never been harder to keep, and the truth has never been easier to distort. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay skeptical, and never stop asking questions. This is Raven Reports, signing off. Over the next hour, as dawn broke fully outside, Marcus explained his involvement with Kozlov's organization. He'd been approached 2 years ago with what seemed like a legitimate business opportunity, developing properties with financing from Kozlov's investment group. Only later did he realize the true nature of the arrangement. The properties were overvalued. The transactions designed to clean money from Kozlov's less legitimate enterprises. By the time Marcus understood what was happening, he was already implicated. Withdrawing would have raised suspicions, possibly put him in danger. So he continued, telling himself he was just the real estate guy, not responsible for where the money came from. But then Kozlov started asking for more. Marcus continued. He wanted me to recruit clients, wealthy people looking for investment opportunities. That's when the fraud aspect began. The clients thought they were investing in legitimate developments. Some of the money actually did go to real projects, enough to show returns. But most of it was just circulating through Kozlov's laundering operation. "And the women?" Eliza asked. "Rebecca and the others?" Marcus sighed. "Some were real relationships. I'm not proud of it, but I compartmentalized my life. Rebecca was different. She approached me at an event where Kozlov was present. I should have realized she was connected to him, but she was convincing. I think she was assigned to keep an eye on me after Kozlov became suspicious about the accounts." "So everything you told me about her working for Kozlov is true?" "As far as I know, yes. She's his troubleshooter. When someone in the organization becomes a problem, Rebecca helps solve it." Eliza shuddered. "And I've been working with her for the past day. She's smart. She probably realized you had access to my apartment, might find something useful, and she was right." Marcus nodded toward the floorboard hiding the safe. That notebook is my insurance policy. It contains details of all of Kozlov's operations, not just the ones I was involved in. Account numbers, contacts, properties, shell companies, everything. How did you get that information if you were just the real estate guy? Marcus looked slightly embarrassed. I got curious and careful, started keeping notes, collecting documents. I knew someday I might need leverage to get out. And plan B? What was that? This, Marcus gestured around them. Disappearing. I'd been planning it for months, gathering resources, creating a new identity. But I needed more time. Your Instagram post forced my hand. Eliza absorbed this information, trying to separate truth from possible manipulation. So what happens now? Now I contact Kozlov, using the information in the notebook as leverage. I offer him a deal. I disappear permanently, never contact authorities, in exchange for my life. I have copies of everything stored securely. If anything happens to me, it all goes to the FBI, Interpol, everyone. Will he agree to that? He's a businessman, ultimately. He'll calculate the risk versus reward. Killing me would be satisfying, but risky if it means his entire operation gets exposed. Eliza wasn't convinced. And what about Rebecca? She knows I've seen the notebook. Marcus's expression darkened. That's a problem. Once she realizes we're gone, she'll report to Kozlov. They'll be looking for both of us. Great, Eliza muttered. So we're just supposed to hide in this cabin indefinitely? No, just until I can make contact with Kozlov and negotiate, a day or two at most. Eliza stood up and paced the small room. This is insane. All of this. The lies, the fraud, the danger, because you got greedy. I know, Marcus admitted. I've made terrible choices, but right now, my priority is keeping us both alive. After that, you can hate me all you want. Before Eliza could respond, a sound caught their attention, the crunch of tires on gravel outside. They both froze. Are you expecting someone? Eliza whispered. Marcus shook his head, moving to the window and peering cautiously through the curtain. His face paled. It's Rebecca, and she's not alone. Eliza joined him at the window. A black SUV had parked behind their sedan. Rebecca was stepping out of the driver's side, while a man Eliza recognized from Marcus's apartment, Anton, emerged from the passenger seat. How did they find us? Eliza hissed. Marcus turned to her, realization dawning in his eyes. Your phone. Is it on? Eliza pulled her phone from her purse. It was powered on. They tracked my phone? Rebecca must have installed spyware when you were together yesterday. Marcus grabbed the phone from her and quickly removed the battery. But it's too late now. They know we're here. Outside, Rebecca and Anton were approaching the cabin, moving with deliberate confidence. Anton had a hand inside his jacket, likely resting on a weapon. Is there another way out? Eliza asked urgently. Back door through the bedroom leads to the woods. Marcus moved quickly to the hidden safe and retrieved the notebook. We need to run, now. They hurried through the bedroom, just as a knock sounded at the front door. Marcus? Rebecca's voice called. I know you're in there. Let's talk about this reasonably. Marcus eased the back door open, checking for additional threats before motioning Eliza through. They slipped out into the dense forest behind the cabin, moving as quietly as possible through the underbrush. Behind them, they heard the front door being forced open, followed by Rebecca's voice. Search the place. They can't have gone far. Marcus led Eliza deeper into the woods, following what appeared to be a faint trail. They moved quickly but carefully, trying to minimize the sound of their passage through the trees. Where are we going? Eliza whispered after they'd been moving for several minutes. There's an old hunting cabin about a mile from here. Marcus replied softly. If we can reach it, there's a radio there. We can call for help. Help from who? The police? The FBI? Aren't they looking for you too? But at this point, I'd rather take my chances with law enforcement than with Kozlov's people. They continued through the forest, the terrain becoming steeper as they moved uphill. The morning sun filtered through the trees, creating dappled patterns on the forest floor. Under different circumstances, it might have been peaceful. A sound behind them, a branch breaking, caused them both to freeze, Someone was following their trail. "Move!" Marcus urged, increasing his pace. "The cabin should be just over this ridge." They crested the hill, and Marcus pointed to a small structure about 200 yards ahead, nestled among the trees. It was smaller than the first cabin, more of a shack really, but it represented their best hope at the moment. They had covered about half the distance when a shot rang out, the bullet splintering a tree trunk inches from Eliza's head. She ducked instinctively, a scream caught in her throat. "Run!" Marcus shouted, grabbing her arm and pulling her forward. They sprinted toward the cabin, zigzagging through the trees to make themselves harder targets. Another shot echoed through the forest, but this one seemed to go wide. They reached the cabin, and Marcus threw the door open, pushing Eliza inside before following and slamming the door shut. He immediately shoved a heavy wooden table against it as a barricade. The cabin was a single room with basic furnishings: a couple of chairs, a wood stove, a shelf with supplies, and in the corner, an old-fashioned ham radio set up on a small desk. Marcus went straight to the radio and began adjusting dials. Come on," he muttered. Eliza peered through a grimy window. "I can see them. Rebecca and Anton are about 100 yards away, moving toward us." Marcus continued working with the radio, finally getting a crackle of static. "Hello? Can anyone hear me? This is an emergency. We need help." There was no response, just more static. Outside, Rebecca and Anton had taken positions behind trees, using them as cover as they advanced methodically toward the cabin. "The radio's not working," Marcus said, frustration evident in his voice. "We need another plan." Eliza scanned the cabin desperately, looking for anything that might help them. Her eyes fell on a trapdoor in the floor near the wood stove. "What's that?" She pointed. Marcus looked where she was indicating. "Cellar, probably for storing firewood, but they'll search it immediately. Unless we're not here when they arrive." Eliza moved to the trapdoor and pulled it open, revealing a small space below with a dirt floor. "We hide, let them search the cabin, then make a break for it when they move on." It wasn't much of a plan, but they were running out of options. Marcus nodded and grabbed the notebook from his pocket, securing it inside his shirt. They climbed down into the cellar and pulled the trapdoor closed above them just as they heard footsteps on the cabin's porch. The space was cramped and dark, smelling of damp earth and old wood. Through the floorboards, they could hear Rebecca and Anton entering, the table being shoved aside. "Search the place," Rebecca's voice commanded. "They have to be here somewhere." Footsteps moved above them, accompanied by the sounds of furniture being moved, cupboards being opened. "Nothing," Anton reported after a few minutes. "But they were here. The radio is still warm." "They can't have gone far," Rebecca said. "Check outside, see if there are tracks leading away from the cabin." Anton's footsteps moved toward the door and then outside. Rebecca remained, her footsteps circling the small space methodically. Eliza held her breath as the footsteps stopped directly above the trapdoor. There was a long moment of silence. Then slowly, the trapdoor began to lift. Light spilled into the cellar as Rebecca's face appeared in the opening, a triumphant smile spreading across her features. "Found you," she said, pointing a small pistol at them. "Come on out, both of you." With no choice, Marcus and Eliza climbed out of the cellar. Rebecca kept the gun trained on them as they stood in the center of the cabin. "You've led us on quite a chase, Marcus," Rebecca said. "Mr. Kozlov is very disappointed in you." "Rebecca, listen," Marcus began. "This doesn't have to end badly. I have information, leverage. I just want to walk away, disappear. Kozlov never has to worry about me again." Rebecca laughed. "You still don't get it, do you? This isn't about what you want. It's about the message it sends to others who might think about crossing Mr. Kozlov." She glanced at Eliza. "And you, I almost feel sorry for you. You were so easy to manipulate. First Marcus, then me. You really should be more careful about who you trust." Eliza felt a surge of anger. "You used me to find him." "Of course I did. When your little Instagram expose went viral, we knew Marcus would contact you eventually. All I had to do was get close to you, gain your confidence, and wait." Anton returned to the cabin. "No other tracks. They must have..." He stopped when he saw the situation. "Ah, you found them." Rebecca nodded. Call Mr. Kozlov. Tell him we have them both, and we're bringing them in." As Anton stepped outside to make the call, Marcus made a desperate plea. "Rebecca, think about this. I have copies of everything, all of Kozlov's operations, all the accounts. If anything happens to me, it goes public. Is that what Kozlov wants?" Rebecca seemed to consider this. "Where are these copies?" "Secure, time-locked. If I don't check in regularly, they get released automatically." It was a bluff. Eliza could tell from the slight tension in Marcus's voice, but Rebecca couldn't be certain. "Show me the notebook," Rebecca demanded, holding out her free hand while keeping the gun steady with the other. Marcus hesitated, then slowly reached into his shirt and extracted the leather-bound notebook. He held it out, but as Rebecca reached for it, he suddenly threw it past her, through the open door of the cabin. Rebecca instinctively turned, her attention momentarily diverted. In that split second, Marcus lunged forward, grabbing for the gun. They struggled, the weapon between them, both fighting for control. Eliza backed away, her heart pounding as the two grappled. The gun discharged with a deafening bang, the bullet embedding itself in the cabin wall. Anton rushed back in at the sound of the shot, his own weapon drawn. Seeing Marcus and Rebecca struggling, he aimed carefully, waiting for a clear shot at Marcus. Eliza, acting on pure instinct, grabbed a heavy lantern from a nearby shelf and swung it with all her strength at Anton's head. It connected with a sickening thud, and Anton crumpled to the floor, his gun clattering away. The distraction gave Marcus the advantage he needed. He twisted Rebecca's wrist until she cried out in pain, the gun falling from her grasp. Marcus kicked it away and pinned Rebecca against the wall. "It's over, Rebecca," he panted. "Tell Kozlov I have everything I need to destroy him. The only way this ends well for him is if he lets us go." Rebecca's eyes blazed with defiance. "He'll never stop looking for you. You know that." "Maybe, but I'm very good at disappearing." Marcus turned to Eliza. "Get the gun and check if Anton is still breathing." Eliza retrieved Rebecca's weapon cautiously, then knelt beside Anton. His pulse was strong, but he was unconscious. "He's alive," she reported, "but he'll have a serious headache when he wakes up. We need to go, now." Marcus looked around the cabin. "Tie them up with something. We need time to get away." They found rope in a storage bin and secured Rebecca and the still unconscious Anton, gagging them with torn strips of fabric found in the cabin. After retrieving the notebook from outside, they took Anton's car keys and cell phone. "What now?" Eliza asked as they hurried away from the cabin. "Now we disappear," Marcus replied. "But first we need to make one stop." They found Anton's SUV parked near Marcus's cabin and took it, driving back toward the city, but taking a different route than they'd come. "Where are we going?" Eliza asked as Marcus navigated the rural roads with tense concentration. "To get the real leverage," he answered cryptically. "The notebook is valuable, but it's not enough. Kozlov could still decide it's worth the risk to come after us. We need the money I diverted. It's in a series of crypto wallets. Once we have that, we can disappear for good." "We?" Eliza raised an eyebrow. "I don't remember agreeing to go on the run with you." Marcus glanced at her. "Fair point. But right now, we're in this together. Once we're safe, you can make your own decision about what to do next." They drove to a storage facility on the outskirts of the city. Marcus used a code to enter, then led Eliza to a specific unit. Inside was a small safe, which he opened to reveal a laptop and several external hard drives. "This is everything," he explained, powering up the laptop. "All the evidence of Kozlov's operations, plus the access codes for the crypto wallets. With this, we have both protection and resources." As Marcus worked on the laptop, transferring data and accessing accounts, Eliza considered her options. She could stay with Marcus, go on the run, live a life looking over her shoulder, or she could walk away right now, go to the FBI, tell them everything. But would they believe her? Would they be able to protect her from Kozlov's reach? "It's done," Marcus announced finally. "I've consolidated the funds and set up new accounts. We have enough to disappear completely, start new lives anywhere in the world." He looked up at Eliza, uncertainty in his eyes for the first time. The question is, what do you want to do? Eliza took a deep breath. The past 72 hours had transformed her life in ways she could never have imagined. She'd been lied to, manipulated, and put in danger. She'd also shown a strength and resourcefulness she hadn't known she possessed. "I want the truth," she said firmly. "All of it. No more lies, no more half-truths." Marcus nodded slowly. "I've told you everything about my involvement with Kozlov. What else do you want to know? Did you ever actually care about me? Or was I just another compartment in your compartmentalized life?" Marcus's expression softened. "That was real. Everything else, the business, the fraud, the other women, that was the act. What I felt for you, that was the only genuine part of my life." Eliza wanted to believe him. Despite everything, despite the danger and deception, a part of her still felt drawn to him. But she wasn't the same person she'd been 3 days ago. She'd been changed by what she'd experienced, hardened in some ways, awakened in others. "I can't just disappear with you," she said finally. "I have a life here, a job, friends, family. I can't abandon all of that." Marcus looked disappointed but not surprised. "I understand, but it's not safe for you to simply go back to your old life. Kozlov knows who you are now. So what do you suggest?" Marcus thought for a moment. "We use the evidence we have. Not all of it. Just enough to make it clear to Kozlov that coming after either of us would be mutually assured destruction. We set up dead man switches, insurance policies. Make it so that harming us would be worse for him than leaving us alone. And do you think that will work? It's our best option. People like Kozlov operate on calculated risk. If the risk outweighs the benefit, he'll back off." Eliza considered this. It wasn't perfect, but it might allow her to reclaim some semblance of her former life while staying safe. "Okay," she agreed. "Let's do it." Over the next several hours, they worked together, compiling evidence, setting up automated systems that would release damaging information if not regularly reset with passwords only they knew. They created multiple copies, stored in various secure locations. They drafted a message to Kozlov, laying out the terms of their proposed détente. By the time they finished, night had fallen again. They sat in the storage unit, surrounded by technology and the digital keys to their safety. "What happens now?" Eliza asked. "Now I deliver the message to Kozlov," Marcus replied. "Not in person, obviously. I have channels. Then we wait. If he accepts our terms, we can both move forward, separately, but safely. And if he doesn't..." Marcus met her gaze steadily. "Then we implement Plan C, which is, everything we have goes to the FBI, Interpol, and every major news outlet simultaneously. Kozlov's entire operation exposed. It would mean witness protection for both of us, but it would be over." Eliza nodded, understanding the gravity of their situation. They were gambling with their lives, hoping a criminal would choose pragmatism over vengeance. "I should go," she said, standing up. "I need some time to process all of this." Marcus stood as well. "Where will you go? Your apartment isn't safe yet." "I have a friend who's out of town. I have her spare key. I'll stay there until we know Kozlov's response." Marcus hesitated, then handed her one of the external hard drives. "Take this. It's encrypted, but I've written down the password. It's your insurance policy, separate from mine. Keep it somewhere safe." Their fingers brushed as she took the drive, a brief moment of connection amid the chaos of their circumstances. "I'll contact you when I hear from Kozlov," Marcus promised. 3 days at most. Eliza nodded, then impulsively leaned forward and kissed him on the cheek. "Goodbye, Marcus. Or whatever your real name is." "It's Marcus," he said softly. That part was always true. She left the storage facility and took a taxi to her friend's apartment, looking over her shoulder the entire way, half expecting to see Rebecca or Anton or some other agent of Kozlov's following her. But no one came. The apartment was quiet, untouched. Eliza secured all the locks, then sat on the unfamiliar couch, the external hard drive clutched in her hand, wondering what the next 3 days would bring. The wait was excruciating. Eliza jumped at every sound, scrutinized every passerby visible from the apartment windows. She checked her phone constantly, though she knew Marcus wouldn't call her regular number, too easily traced. Instead, they'd arranged for him to contact her through a secure messaging app they'd installed on a prepaid phone he'd given her. 3 days passed with no word, then 4. By the 5th day, Eliza was vacillating between worry and anger. Had Marcus abandoned her? Had Kozlov found him? Or had this all been another elaborate deception? On the 6th day, just as Eliza was considering implementing Plan C on her own, the secure phone chimed with a message. "It's done. Terms accepted. Call this number from a public phone." With shaking hands, Eliza wrote down the number, then went to find a payphone. Not an easy task in the age of smartphones, but she eventually located one in the lobby of an old hotel downtown. She dialed the number, her heart pounding as it rang. "Eliza," Marcus's voice answered on the second ring. "Are you safe?" "Yes," she replied. "What happened?" "It's been almost a week. Negotiations took longer than expected. Kozlov needed convincing, but it's done. He's agreed to leave us both alone as long as the evidence remains secured and unreleased." Relief flooded through Eliza. "So it's over? We're safe?" "As safe as we can be. Kozlov is a businessman, but he's also proud. This arrangement stings for him. We should both remain vigilant, but yes, the immediate danger has passed." "And what about you? Where are you?" There was a pause. "I'm leaving the country tonight. New identity, new life. It's better if you don't know where." Eliza felt an unexpected pang of loss. Despite everything, despite the lies and danger, a part of her had grown attached to Marcus, or perhaps to the adventure they'd shared. "What about me? What do I do now?" "You can go back to your life gradually. I've arranged for a security system to be installed at your apartment. The company thinks you're a minor celebrity concerned about stalkers. They won't ask questions. Use the secure phone to check in with the dead man's switch every week. Otherwise, try to move forward. Just like that. Pretend none of this happened?" "Not pretend," Marcus said softly. "Remember, learn from it. Be more careful about who you trust in the future." Eliza laughed bitterly. "That's rich, coming from you." "I know. I'm sorry for everything, Eliza. For dragging you into this. For putting you in danger. For lying to you from the beginning." There was genuine regret in his voice, and despite herself, Eliza felt tears stinging her eyes. "Will I ever see you again?" she asked, immediately regretting the question. Another pause. "It's better if you don't. Safer for both of us." Of course. The rational answer. The only answer that made sense. Yet Eliza couldn't help feeling a sense of incompleteness, of a story without a proper ending. "Goodbye, Marcus," she said finally. "Take care of yourself." "You too, Eliza. And thank you for everything." The line went dead, and Eliza stood in the hotel lobby, the phone still pressed to her ear, listening to the dial tone that represented the final chapter of her time with Marcus Reed. In the months that followed, Eliza rebuilt her life piece by piece. She returned to her job, though she found herself approaching design work with a new perspective, more attuned to details, more suspicious of superficial appearances. She deleted the Instagram account that had started it all, though copies of the posts had long since spread across the internet. Sometimes she would catch glimpses of men who resembled Marcus on the street, or she'd see a luxury car like the one he used to drive and her heart would skip. But it was never him. The news eventually reported that Viktor Kozlov had been arrested in connection with an international money laundering operation, though the reports mentioned nothing about Marcus Reed or a mysterious woman who had exposed secrets on Instagram. Eliza wondered if the evidence had been released after all, or if Kozlov had simply made enemies elsewhere. She kept the encrypted hard drive Marcus had given her, though she never needed to use it. Every week she dutifully checked in with the dead man's switch, a ritual that gradually became as routine as paying bills or grocery shopping. Life settled into a new normal. Eliza was more cautious now, more reserved with her trust, but also more confident in her own resilience. She had faced genuine danger and survived. She had uncovered lies and found truth. She had lost something but gained something else in return. And sometimes late at night, when she couldn't sleep and found herself scrolling through her phone, she would wonder where Marcus was. what name he was using, whether he ever thought of her. She would wonder if the feelings he'd claimed were real had been just another deception or the one true thing in a life built on lies. She never knew for certain. Perhaps that was for the best. Some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, some questions left unanswered. In the end, all we can do is move forward, carrying our experiences with us, shaped by them, but not defined by them. Eliza Bennett had exposed a man's secret life on Instagram, and he had vanished without a trace. But she remained, stronger for having weathered the storm, wiser for having seen behind the curtain, ready for whatever came next in a world where nothing is ever quite what it seems. Welcome back to Raven Reports. I'm your host, and that was the story of Eliza Bennett and Marcus Reed, a tale of deception, danger, and digital exposure. Remember, in today's interconnected world, secrets have never been harder to keep, and the truth has never been easier to distort. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay skeptical, and never stop asking questions. This is Raven Reports, signing off.